Thank you. Testing.
No Q&A for any of these. These are all no. Has 3 people up, so we're going to hand our microphone.
That's what they were just saying. Yeah.
3 people?
There's 3 people.
That's what we were just told. Yeah. Yeah.
But we got enough microphones.
Yeah, we'll just hand our mics over.
Okay.
We're flexible.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
I'll talk first.
Oh, thank you.
All right, ladies and
All right.
gentlemen, mine's off. My microphone is off.
Somebody's sending a sign to you, Joe. I don't know. All right, could everybody start congregating back here? I know we can stay here all day with these great questions, conversation. Hopefully everybody had a chance to get some snacks, get some coffee. So let's just wait a couple seconds here as everybody starts kind of mingling in. But again, there is going to be a networking aspect after some of our talks. So if you don't have a chance right now to ask a question to somebody you might be waiting in line for, plenty of time.
And snacks and drinks should be out throughout the whole show. So if you want to get a drink, want to get a snack, you can do that. Don't worry about that. So let's make our ways back to our seats so we can introduce our next presenter. David, how's everything going on your end?
You know, everything's going pretty well, but I'm wondering if I might need to walk over there, you know, like running and rounding up people.
Great.
But maybe not.
Yeah, they'll be back in a couple seconds. I feel like I've learned a lot, and this is the...
I feel like this is a free master's class. Like, I feel like I might actually put this on my resume or CV.
I feel like I'm watching
credit.
the next industrial revolution.
I think we are. Yeah. Well, that's what we were kind of joking with before, right? Is I think you have a lot of people in here, probably a lot of people sitting in the audience that will be the next kind of Warren Buffett of crypto.
Exactly.
Yeah, and might be owning this this nice view.
This is just a complete disruptor. How everything is done in the past is completely going to change, and we have no idea what's going to happen in the next couple of years. And it's just
It's kind of like marriage. There you
go.
Kind of
like marriage. There we go. Alrighty, so we're going to introduce our next presenter. If everybody can make their way back to towards the stage here, grab your seat, get comfortable, and I'm going to do that right now.
Yes, come on down. You're the next contestant.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome presentations from AlphaCat, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, we're going to have a few people from AlphaCat.
We have a few people. Round of applause. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, can I have this? There you go. There you go. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll wait a little bit until most people come back to sit down. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the AlphaCat team. My name is Katherine Lee. I'm the co-founder and the project leader. We come from Shanghai, and you can see some teamwork, 3 of us presenting this project. AlphaCat. CAT, the C-A-T, stands for computer-aided trading, or computer-assisted trading. This project is a little bit different from the other application, but it can be relevant to everyone because AlphaCat is a platform for quantitative investment for cryptocurrency. The tokens can have a use case, useful in some way, but it can also be an investment vehicle. And everyone who holds a token wants its value to increase. And that's what we do. Okay, so what is AlphaCat? AlphaCat is a predictive robot marketplace. Or we call it the world's first quantitative investment platform for cryptocurrency. And let me tell you a little bit background about myself and AlphaCat. I used to be a hedge fund manager. Actually, I studied at NYU. I got my PhD in physics and computational physics from NYU, and then went on to join Merrill Lynch to become a quant. So I worked for Merrill Lynch for 4 years and then for Swiss Bank. And I used to head UBS Quantitative Trading Strategies Group. And in the past 20 years or so, my career is in trading strategies, running hedge funds, and later on, we want to apply the trading strategies and build artificial intelligence-powered algorithms and systems to manage hedge fund and later on to trade cryptocurrencies to make profits. And it really works. Next page. So what does AlphaCat do? We want to make investing as easy as buying a bottle of Coke. For example, imagine that you get on the AlphaCat platform, and then you can pick a robot trader. It shows its performance record, the back test or real record, and you think that's good. And then you open an account at say Bitfinex or an exchange. Then you attach the robot you picked to your account, and it tosses say 1 Bitcoin and push a button. It starts to trade, to manage the asset for you. Every day you can see your account value increase. So that's as simple as ABC. How you pick a robot, attach to your account, hit a button, and you get a personalized hedge fund service. Next page. Look at the pictures. On the left, it's the trading floor of UBS 15 years ago. I used to sit right in the center of the trading floor when I headed the quantitative trading strategies group. But now, the trading floor is empty. I remember it's a football-sized, 6-story high ceiling trading floor, the largest in the world. Financial technology has changed people run businesses. A lot of tedious work or repetitive work, or even the transaction and trading has been done by automated artificial intelligence-powered systems. Next page. Everyone knew about the event, right? AlphaGo beat the human champion in a game of Go. We believe that in the future, robot traders, fund managers will replace most human asset managers. And so we want to build a platform to provide this service to everyone. And now I'll let my younger team members, English-speaking team members, to continue this presentation. Okay, you have the
Yeah, I will do a brief intro of us. So my name is JC, and that's Ken. So we worked very privileged to work on the first project coming out of Neo called Repos, and now we're part of the AlphaCat founding team. So the mission is to decentralize the quantitative service and knowledge and data to the mass population of the crypto and the stock investors. And Ken will go through the slides, and Bing and Lee will jump in and answer any questions if you have.
Sure.
Right. Okay. So the general idea that we're pushing, right, is that thesis-driven investment tends to perform much better than, say, general crowdsourced predictive markets, right? You have platforms like Augur, Gnosis, that depend largely on just general user input. Our thesis, we personally believe that research and data-backed investment theses are a far more effective and proven way to actually conduct your investment, right? So the main problem, however, is that the majority of these tools are locked away behind larger corporations, companies, banks, firms that are large enough to be able to afford a quant trading team or quant researchers, while the researchers themselves don't really have any platform or outlet to be able to actually display their research or allow retail investors to get on board to be able to access these tools. So at the core of the AlphaCat platform then is that there are going to be 3 different kinds of users. The first are what we call architects. These are going to be the people who come up with theses investment theses that engineers then can come in and execute as forecasting algorithms or trading algorithms. And finally, we'll have surveyors, which are the users, whether they're retail investors, researchers that would like to use these algorithms and forecasting data for their own research, can then come on and pick these algorithms. The general idea, again, right, is to sort of cut out the middleman, cut out the large corporate barrier that currently exists for a lot of this information and a lot of this analysis. Your average researcher isn't going to have the resources to be able to put together a team to work on, say, the relationship between the price of water and almonds, right? I don't know if you guys have seen The Big Short, but things like that, right? Or say, the relationship between entertainment stocks and current political events that are happening throughout the world. Next slide, please. So, at the core of the platform then is essentially we'd like to build a platform then that will be able to be more user focused as well. It's not solely for the researchers. We want retail investors to be able to have a pretty simple window in which to come in, find the theses that may speak to their interests the most, be able to review, backtest, run by engineers, their previous trading histories, research they may have conducted. The emphasis here, right, is on not the typical crowdsourced sort of crowdsourced predictive markets, but again, research-backed insights.
I'll explain. We try to build a robot system that mimics the investment style and the philosophy or method of an investment guru that has proven to be, working and generate good results. For example, it's durable. To create a robot Warren Buffett that select stocks according to value investing rules and generate fantastic results. It's a little bit small, but if you look at the charts, in the middle is a real Warren Buffett performance chart. And the top line is the result, backtest result of a robot Buffett asset manager who can generate even higher returns. Even the risk is higher. And the bottom line is S&P 500. We already have a system called Magic Cat that's applied to the Chinese stock market. It selects about 50 to 250 stocks and change the positions quarterly. We also apply big data and machine learning methods to try to avoid the downside time periods of the market so that we can produce very good results. I think that program can already replace a traditional mutual fund manager. The cost will be very low. You do not need to maintain a team of analysts and traders and fund managers in order to run a stock mutual fund. And the results would be better over the long term. And this is one of the robots we're going to offer on the platform. Of course, other engineers and contributors will offer their predictive robots on an AlphaCat platform for everyone to use, and they will get rewarded. So this is just an example of the things that it can do. Next page. Okay, I also explained this page. On the left side, you can see the two charts of Bitcoin prices. And we have a neural network machine learning system that is trained to calibrate to the past and try to make a 5-day forecast. On certain days, it's going to predict that there's, say, higher than 70% chance it's going to go up in the next few days, or it's going to drop with a probability of say 86%. Then we're going to buy the former and short the futures contract of the later to make a profit. The chart on the right side is another system. We call it adaptive CTA, or the sea turtle program. That's basically a trend following algorithm that detects a trend in the asset, either Bitcoin or futures contract. And if it's going up, you buy it. If it goes up more, you buy more. And if it turns back, you reduce your position. And if it drops too much, you totally get out. So that you can capture most of the going up trends and avoid the declining trends. Overall, you can generate very good results. So such algorithm methods in the hedge fund world are only available to accredited investors who can invest more than $1 million. In China now, 300 million RMB. So the ordinary people cannot benefit from that. And everybody, the average person cannot get a tailored product. But with robots and an AlphaCat program, we can do that. You continue with the next page.
Right. So again, just to really quickly go through the general user flow, right? You'd come onto the platform after after engineers submit their bids. The highest performing algorithms would then be available for users to subscribe to. The way that this would work is you would stake a certain number of AlphaCat tokens depending on past engineer performance, size of the funds that they're working with, period of the active period of the algorithm, and the staked tokens will be awarded to these engineers and architects dependent on the success of their forecast.
So we have already been running our artificial intelligence-powered hedge fund for more than 11 months. So we have proven to the entire world that the robot can do its job. So this is the chart of our flagship fund launched in the December of last year. And this is audited publicly available record fund performance. The performance is better than the red line is the fund. The blue line is China index. So the outperformed the index, even though the index went up a lot. So this is proof that it really works. Even though in today's conferences, a lot of people are still talking about it's still too early for machines to manage a fund. But we have already done that.
So these are a couple of the algorithms currently in production. There's BitCat, EtherCat already currently being tested in beta. There are other algorithms planned as well. We're going to be seeding this platform with proprietary algorithms to begin with. Again, the focus is on research-backed algorithms. So to get this kick-started, we'll be offering up our own. Next slide, please. And so this is a rough explanation of the ecosystem that AlphaCat will encompass. I think we're running out of time, so we're going to just skip the details for now. Feel free to come up and ask us if you'd like to talk in more detail.
Yeah. So we have been awarded 4 patents by the USPTO, and also applying 2 patents in China in the fintech area. Neural net forecasts and high-frequency trading. And it's rare for any team to get patents in financial applications. And we have been awarded the ECI Gold Award last year for innovation in technology. We are very lucky as a small firm to get this award. The other 4 firms are the Fortune 500 firms. This is a picture of our team and advisors. We're based in China, and one of the partners used to work for DeepMind, the company that created AlphaGo. We are very excited about this. This platform will be built with the NEO protocol, which is suitable for financial applications, and it's really wonderful. And this platform will be borderless. You don't need to use your credit card or PayPal to pay for it because it's based in cryptocurrency, and we'll have our own token, and it will be efficient, and there's less regulation in this area. So on a conventional investment platform, it's still impossible for the ordinary people to use those algorithms, just like a hedge fund and accredited investors can do. But in a cryptocurrency world, this is already possible. So we want to make this, the world #1 successful quantitative investment platform. We have already worked with many securities houses and banks in the traditional world and also in the cryptocurrency world. Okay, so next page.
Yeah, basically, we have lots of information to process and lots of interesting ideas to share with you guys with. But if anyone interested in quant trading or investing in cryptos in secondary market and how we're gonna to tokenize the hedge funds industry, please feel free to reach out to us after this session. We're gonna have another demo this evening, 7:30 p.m. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your time. It's really a pleasure to be part of the NEO program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another round of applause for Alpha Cat, Ben Lee and his team.
I think we should move on now. Let's keep up the pace. For our next presentation, we have the Key project, and that's Professor Dr. Yingdong King. All right, round of applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Daffy. Good very early morning. Because I just came from China. This morning time. Still morning time. Okay. I'm giving by Hongfei only 10 minutes, so I have to be quick. So out of 10 slides, I'm giving you 4 slides. Okay, the key. First thing come to first, what are we planning to do? Which one? What are we planning to do? We are planning to do second generation online ID verification. ID verification is I entirely agree with you that identity verification is the most important part of smart economy. So this is what we are doing. Without ID verification, no smart economy, no trust can be built. This is the thing. So this is the key. So, and another point I would like to make, no existing ID verification tool is able to generate results which is not able to be undeniable. Look at your telephone. Telephone is smart. Smartphone, is connected with a name. But, okay, you are not sure whether you are you. This is the thing, what we are doing. Okay, and now you have to have another question. Okay, great, it sounds great, Dr. King. How are you going to do it? 2 parts. One is technology. The other one is ecosystem. If you look at our technology is called BDMI, blockchain-based dynamic multi-dimension identification. Okay, for our BDMI, there are 6 elements. Number 1 element is biometrics. We are always use biometrics data as the base. Biometrics data like a fingerprint, like iris, like your face. This is number 1. And number 2, the second element is the reference. We are always use the government data, government authenticated data as the reference. The third element is we are always doing cross-checking between 3 sets of data: government ID data, and the behavior data, and also scene data. This is number 3. And the number 4 is we are always using newly updated data. Why newly updated data? Because we are using this BDMI for social insurance pay in China. Social insurance pay, including pension, healthcare, blah, 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 blah. For pension, for instance, in our practice, okay, that old man is fine. I mean, he is born in 1940-something and what? Everything fine. He's eligible for pension. But last month, you know what happened? He died. He passed away. So always we use the most updated data, the latest updated, newly updated data for identity verification. And then number 3 is not only ID data, not only behavior data, not only CN data, we are also using some other data like medical history. And then number 6, okay, when you do biometrics data, you use government data, you use cross-checking, still you can fake it. Okay, therefore, we are always using data audit. I gave you an example. Okay, what's wrong with this guy? He goes to the hospital, he is diagnosed as a common cold, he gets 1 tablet of amoxicillin. That is fine, perfect, fine. But later on, when you check, you find him, he goes to hospital in 1 day 100 times. He got 10,000 tablets of amoxicillin. That's what? That's fake. So, I mean, that's the technology we are using. What I would like to emphasize is, okay, we are using these 6 elements simultaneously. Our lucky number is not 5, it's not 7. Our lucky number is 6. This is our lucky number. This is our BDMI. Okay, only technology will not work alone. We also have a what? The key ecosystem. The key ecosystem has 3 major components. The first component is the stakeholders, participants. The participants, we have validators, we have smart contracts, we have tokens. And also, we have the second part is smart contract. With smart contract, we are able to properly protect the privacy of the users. And also with smart contract, we can settle the bills. We pay the validators. And also with smart contract, we can make user, we can for and on behalf of the user to check whether the KYC is reasonable or the KYC of policy, the request made by the service provider, whether whether it's reasonable or not reasonable. And the third part is TKY token. So that's the That's how we are going to do it, to do our IDV. Okay, the third slide, what I'm going to present you is what the advantages of the key compare with, as just mentioned by Hongfei, that there are many products, ID products, ongoing in the world. Basically, we have three advantages compared with products like Civic. Number one is more reliable results. Okay. If you look at the other products, what they do this. They tell people, I'm Hongfei. Give me your social security number. I put it on the APP, and then I can prove I'm I. This is my fingerprint. This is my email address, and this is what. Okay. They never use the government data as the reference. Okay, I am not convinced this is the right approach to prove you are you. This is number one. And number two, okay, compare with other products, this product is lower cost. Why lower cost? Because we are using the existing data and the data infrastructure. This is number two. And then number three is better user experience. Better user experience means, okay, all the projects, no exception, they need you to upload your information. Or maybe, you just upload, other people's information, like Hongfei's information, to the applications. Okay, that's the competing advantages. Okay, people will say, yes, Dr. King, it sounds great, but whether you can do it, okay, the last slide I will give you is to show you what achievements we have already made. BDMI, from technology side, it's already developed. We have already got 38 patents and copyrights. This is a wrong number. But our products are already in use in 2 pilot cities, cover 6 million people. And our blockchain project is online, covering 9.8 million people. And we have already connected with government ID data, 210 million people live on real-time basis. And currently, we are running 6 laboratories at national level together with the government, with the banks, with the insurance companies, and with the world-leading companies like Alibaba. In addition to the above, we have already signed commercial contracts with 21 world-leading companies. We have already generated revenues. That's us. That's why I'm saying this. We have only 1 inch away from success. That's my presentation. Finally, I'm giving you my partner. chairwoman and the CEO of the Key, Katherine Lee. Katherine Lee was just appointed as the most outstanding womenpreneur in China of the year by All China Federation, Women Federation. I love you, and we are all proud of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. 10 minutes.
All right. I think
Fantastic.
Dr. King might have to replace us as MCs.
Yeah.
I love that energy. I need to take.
My God,
I need to take
you're
her-
jet lagged?
This is good.
This is you jet
good.
lagged? That's great job. Great job.
Yes,
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, to keep this going,
Yes.
please welcome from Qlink, Susan Zhao.
I think they should have. Oh yes, right there. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Susan. I'm representing the project of the Qlink. So before I start, I want to introduce my team members, which are with me today. Alan Lee, which is a co-developer and the CEO of our project. Alan, can you stand up, say hi? Yes. And we have Dean, which is the head of community engagement. So Dean gonna cover the second part, which is dev running on the Qlink. So who is the Qlink? So Qlink is the first decentralized mobile network. And we're trying to solve two problems. The first is to cover uncovered areas, so give people the internet access. So the second is trying to improve efficiency of mobile network. The concept of the Qlink is pretty simple. It's to register. Sorry, I have to go back. Is to register the telecom assets on the public chains, which including your Wi-Fi routers, your content and data, and your unused SMS, or any kind of physical base station in the telecom space. So those things are going to be registered on the public chain. And all the ledgers generated between asset owners and asset users going to be kept on the Qlink chains. And if you take one more step forward, think about this network, it's actually give everybody a chance to be the operator of your network and be plugged into telecom infrastructure and get a reward by sharing. So one of the biggest concepts we want to introduce is the Qlink base station. It's essentially a hardware which is a telecom network expansion to support Wi-Fi and LTE. At the same time, it fully braces to the blockchain and support the POS and POW consensus mining. So it could be in any format. It could be at your home, at your office. And the business launch we are going to do is a cooperation with the Central Auto. Central Auto is an electrical vehicle maker in China serving the global market. And it's a logistic company. It's a manufacturer logistic cards. And Qlink is going to provide the vehicle base station that installed on the car. And the car will become the hotspot as it goes. At the same time, a node on the Internet of Things. So any data the car generated can transmit back to whoever wants the access. At the same time, as it goes, it can provide additional network coverage to the crowds that's needed. So, this kind of hardware gonna effectively bring down the cost of the heavy investment infrastructure in telecom industries. So we know a lot of countries, especially developing countries in the Southeast Asia, Africa, and South America, the people are demanding more data. For example, India. And on average speaking, one Indian can only enjoy 300 megabytes of data, which is 1/10 of US consumption right now. So if we want to give them better quality of the telecom service, and we have to spend $54 million to put up 360 towers in India alone, and no mention other countries. That is a lot of money. So what the Qlink can do is put up the base station in the different formats and empower individuals to have the network and build the network by sharing through the sharing protocols. So besides the hardware, this is the telecom architecture we introduced, which essentially going to support all the sharing protocols. And 3 are core parts. The first is the Qlink app, including the Qlink mobile app and desktop. And the user can register telecom assets on the Qlink blockchain and again gain access to the network and at the same time and browse the content. The second part of our developments is the Qlink chain and public chain. We fully adopt Neon because Neon have the high TPS, which is a fitting feature of telecom industry. So we're going to work with the Ontology teams, develop the Qlink chain, which is fully concentrated on the telecom industry and fit into the feature of the high TPS and etc. Between those 2 chains, they're going to be cross-chain protocols and make sure the communication between the 2 chains are properly running. And we're introducing Qlink gateway. So I think a lot of people heard about Ripple gateways, which is essentially a very similar ideas as API. You can plug in any telecom providers, including Verizon, AT&T, or virtual telecom providers, plug into this API. Essentially can serve the Qlink users and accept Qlink tokens because we're going to do the fiat clearance at the same time. So this gateway will provide any telecom providers additional revenue stream. So, and here I want to introduce the man behind those ideas, our co-developers. Those 3 young men have been working together over 3 years on the previous startups, UU Mobile. And Alan Lee and Zhijie, the multiple patent owners on the telecom industry. Alan himself is the first batch of LTE engineers in Huawei. And we have Wang Peng and the senior software developers who are focused on the blockchain development right now. So this is the previous projects that they work together. And this is what kind of explain why they can do the Qlink and why they can do the mobile data distributions. So in the previous project, the UU Mobile, they developed the personal traveling Wi-Fi routers supporting the global roaming services. Pretty much like one routers you bring along, which country you travel, so you just can get unlimited data. And those are the maps that the clients are served. At the same time, this is a virtual SIM card bank and running in Shanghai right now. So through the virtual SIM card bank, all the data will distributed to the routers and serving the user at the same time. And I would say a Qlink is the project between the chain and the dApp. And we're actually accepting a lot of other applications running on the Qlink. But initially, there's a couple of dApps we could develop ourselves. So my coworker Dian gonna introduce those dApps.
G'day. So as Susan said, there are a bunch of applications that are going to be possible to be built on top of all the technology that Susan just described. And the first one is a Wi-Fi sharing platform. Now, that doesn't look right. But there's a bunch of things that we feel that we can really improve upon the current Wi-Fi sharing methods. The first one, and perhaps the most important one, is security. So if you go home tonight and you open up Google and you punch in, how can I steal a Wi-Fi password? You're going to find plenty of information on how to do exactly that. Because at the moment, the current method of sharing a Wi-Fi password is something called a four-way handshake. And it's relatively simple to be able to capture that password during that process, and then the connection's been compromised. So we use blockchain to register the Wi-Fi asset onto the chain, and then we can use P2P. We can authorize the P2P transmission of that password direct from the hardware device to the user's phone, and we can kind of secure the Wi-Fi connection a lot better that way. Secondly, we can incentivize sharing a lot better. So there isn't really a lot of incentive to share your Wi-Fi connection at the moment, unless you're something like a coffee shop or an airport lounge. You're just really doing it as an extra convenience to your customers. And even then, on larger scale deployments, it can become quite expensive to deploy that technology. So the businesses will generally look to something like advertising to kind of offset those costs. So Qlink offers a few different options there to help make that easier. First of all, I mean, once you've registered your Wi-Fi to the network, you don't have to pay any ongoing costs. And there are a few different ways that you can monetize that connection. So there's content distribution. You can allow the users of your connection to view something like a video. They will receive a reward in the QLC token. So they get a connection to your Wi-Fi. They get some tokens for viewing that video. But the Wi-Fi sharer will also get a kickback for those tokens. The Wi-Fi sharer can just set up free Wi-Fi and just accept donations in QLC, or they can set up a straight billing contract. So when they register the Wi-Fi, they say, I want 2 QLC per minute, and they can monetize it that way. So another potential use case is content distribution and mobile data. So Qlink is able to track and record content and registered content on the Qlink network, and then create a ledger of data consumption. Now, this allows us to do a bunch of things. If you have a look at this diagram here, this is basically how it's going to work. So you've got the content provider in the top right. They register a piece of content to the Qlink network, and this is to the Qlink chain, and it's hashed and creates a unique fingerprint for that content. On the other side, you've got the users who are browsing the Qlink network. When they access a piece of content, it's hashed again, and another fingerprint is created. So if we can match these two fingerprints, if we find two fingerprints that are the same, we can then record that data transaction, create a content consumption ledger, and then bill that data transaction to an account accordingly. And that's going to enable a whole bunch of use cases. So in a sense, content providers can almost become data providers. If you think about how you use Netflix at the moment, right? You go and you purchase your Netflix subscription, you pay $10 a month or whatever it is, but it's useless to you unless you have a data connection. You need to go and purchase data from your mobile provider or your home internet, and that's how you're going to access the content. Using this system, theoretically a company like Netflix could go and register all their content on the Qlink network. Then they could purchase mobile data through the gateway that Susan was describing and assign that to that content. So when you purchase your Netflix subscription and you want to access those videos, you're using Netflix's data. They're sponsoring the data for you, so that doesn't come out of your account. So you could have a Netflix account, a Hulu account, and they could all sponsor their different data, and you wouldn't have to worry about that coming off your mobile plan. Because we can also track who is accessing a piece of content as well, not only can we charge the right accounts for that data transaction, but we can also reward people for that as well. So like I said before, advertisers could, if you're a movie studio, for instance, and you had a new movie coming out, and you had a movie trailer you wanted everyone to go and watch, you could register that to the Qlink network. You could sponsor, say, 500 gigabytes of data for that, and then set like a 10,000 QLC token bounty, and then everyone who views that video will get a kickback, so there's incentive to go and to watch that. And online education is another one that I think this would be really useful for. So obviously online learning is growing all the time, and provides access to a level of education that some people might not have access to otherwise. But in some regions, access to data might prevent them from taking advantage of those opportunities. So the education platforms could sponsor the data for the course content. So the students could go and access their lectures or their PDFs or their course notes, whatever they needed to complete their studies, and they wouldn't have to worry about then finding the money to go and get enough data to actually complete the course. And this really benefits all the different users of the ecosystem. So you've got the content providers who have got this new avenue to distribute and promote their content. You've got the content users who can view content at no data cost to themselves or be rewarded for viewing content. And then you've got the mobile operators who have this whole new avenue of revenue they can generate by selling data directly to the content providers. Another potential use case is the E2P SMS service. So because you can register telecom assets to the blockchain, you could register unused or excess SMS. And then you could sell that to companies who need that to distribute messages directly to their clientele and things like that. So this is some of the advisors to the Qlink project. We got a lot of experience here. We have one of the co-founders of Alibaba. We also have the former CTO of StarHub, who are the second biggest telecom provider in Singapore. And then we also have the team here, Susan, who you've met, and a whole bunch of other talent there. Toya was the former senior PR manager of OKCoin, and Roger and Tony have plenty of experience in IT and business as well. So if you want to join the community, you can join the Telegram, the website, and also the Twitter as well. And hopefully you can become a part of the world's first decentralized mobile network. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Big round of applause for Qlink, Susan Zhao and her team, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. And
Let's keep it
moving
moving.
right along, let's move right along. We've got Young Hu from DeepBrain. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, dear friends. I'm Yung He from China, CEO of DeepBrain Chain. Oh, yeah. Thank you. DeepBrain Chain Foundation, organization registered in Singapore. If you ask me what is DeepBrain Chain, summarized it in one sentence. DeepBrain Chain, I'd say, is an artificial intelligent computing platform driven by blockchain. Firstly, I will share with our achievements in the AR field. We developed the first Chinese voice assistant in 2011. It has more than 17 million users to date. Also worthy of note, our voice assistant came out before iPhone's Chinese version of Siri. In June 2014, we made a sound box-based our voice assistant named Small Zhi. It's the first long-distance voice instruction sound in the world. Also worth of note, our product came out 6 months early than Amazon Echo. May 2017, DeepBrain burst. DeepBrain is the core brain of our voice assistant and the small Zhi sound box. DeepBrain provides AR service to software and hardware. We have more than 10 million users, 1 billion instructions, and more than 100 companies cooperated our company, such as Samsung, Huawei, Lenovo, and so on. On August, we got awarded the second prize in Chinese machine Dialogue Field Authority Evaluation Competition. The competition was held by AR Lab of Harbin Institute of Technology, Huawei, and Inflytech. There are 20 top AR teams. Following are some pictures. September 2017, Debris and the Chinese Academy of Science started a research lab focused on AR NLP. Provides AR service to software, and following are some patches we had intent in AR field before or about. We have a lot of experience and study on the AR field. We know the critical pain points in AR enterprise. Deep brain can solve the problem. Firstly, all the AR enterprise need high performance GPU or FPGA to do training and computing. And it usually costs 10% to 13%. Financing capital to buy computing equipment. This is really a huge financial stress for all the AR enterprise. Secondly, there is no effective way to separate ownership and use of data, so data is easily copied and resold. This will lead to disclosure of our privacy. For example, the DeepMind developed AlphaGo was accused NHS gave 1.6 million partial state to DeepMind to train the medical brain without owner's permission. Long can guarantee DeepMind will keep this data confidential and not exposed to third parties. In the end, the court ruled in the favor of prosecutor due to low effective way to separate ownership and user of data. When data seller sells data, the seller has to sell the ownership and use of data together. For example, A is a data enterprise, B is an AR enterprise. A has around 20 potential customers. However, when A transforms those data to B is likely to sell those data to A's potential customers for a low price, which is a huge risk for A. As a result, lots of valuable data can't follow and their value can't be realized. For example, many international companies have a large amount user data, but the data can't only be used by their own training. Once they share the data with another company, then the value data may be used by their competitors or be leaked. This is 2017 Global AR Enterprise report from Wuzhen Index. There is 5,154 new startup AR enterprise founded. The total financial is $22.4 billion USD. The AR departments of media and the large companies will still not count in. The society invent a lot in the AR field, and the different chain must have a large market. How does different chain solve the AR enterprise pains? Firstly, different DBC has many nodes to provide computing power. The main income of node is from mining DBC token. Instead of rating artificial intelligent computing power, AR enterprise just pay a small amount gas fee, which is very helpful for cutting down their cost. Secondly, because data centers, data purchasers, and computer nodes are physically separate in different chain, there is effective way to separate ownership and use of data. This can protect data from being resold or be exposed. There is different chain ecosystem layout. AR enterprise are the critical part of different chain ecosystem. If more AR enterprise involved, the value of DBC is bigger. AR enterprise buy DBC token from enters to pay off the DBC nodes computing power. Can also purchase DBC data loader, Instagram, and doc image. DB chain also has following features: flexible computing. When AR enterprise user picked the computing power, different chain can automatically make adjustment. Security. If one of our nodes gets hacked, it won't affect our system as whole. Because the modes are scaled, they will automatically replace the hacked node with a new one on a timely fashion. If you want to know about us, please follow us on Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, and Telegram. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. Give a nice applause again to Young Hu from Deep Brain.
All right, and for our final presenter, please welcome to stage from Peer Atlas, Dr. Colin Closer.
All right, so my name is Dr. Closer from Peer Atlas. I'm a currency trader. I'm also a doctor. I graduated medical school in May, and I spent the summer sleeping on the floor of my office trading ant shares. Now I'm here. So there's not very many doctors that are currency junkies, and there's not many people in this audience that are doctors, medical doctors. So there is a problem with medicine that I think has the potential to make sense from a business point of view, and I'm here to explain it to you. Next slide. So since 2011, my dear friend, Dr. Mattson, and I have shared a vision. We think that high-quality medical information should be free, and it's not right now, and it's a big problem in medicine in the United States and especially outside the United States. So it's behind a paywall, and the solution to this paywall is an open-source medical encyclopedia that will replace the current gold standard of medicine, which uses a subscription model, with open source. Now, I see all the investors here tuning out because open source to them means no money, but don't worry, there's money. All right, so Peer Atlas is our product. Brad coded it from scratch. I wrote the white paper, and this is our product. Next slide. So Atlas is our NEP5 token that we will be launching in the first quarter of next year. So it's no, go back. It's there to support the operations of the encyclopedia. The reason that Wikipedia type resource has not taken over is that it's very difficult to operate a medical encyclopedia because there's a small pool of people that are qualified to write for it. They're all doctors, they're all highly paid, and they all have they're all pinched on time. So you can't just pool resources in a wiki type format and get and maintain a gold standard medical reference. Maybe it'll be a bronze standard, but not the gold standard. Okay. So we are not a wiki. We are not a wiki. We are open source, but we are not a wiki. We pay our contributors. We feel they have to be paid. At the beginning, they will be paid from the Pure Atlas Foundation, from the ICO raise, and the sustainable model in the long run, because we can't just pay people forever, is to crowdfund the payment through the Atlas token. Next. So this is our competition. This is Pure Atlas competition. This is up to date. It's published by a billion-dollar publisher, and we have here, this is the world's best information on arrhythmia management for the primary care physician. So like a general practitioner who wants to know how to manage a patient that's having heart palpitations. So we have the introduction here. We have 3 reasons to evaluate and treat arrhythmias, and this gray box is a paywall. To continue reading this article, you must log in with your personal hospital or group practice subscription. For more information, please click on the option that best describes you. Now, this subscription costs $500 a year for individual doctors, $500 US a year for individual doctors. Most of the small clinics that I trained at do not subscribe to this resource. The large hospitals do. But so any computer that's on the hospital network in the hospital, this information will come up with no problem. But even if you're an attending working from home, you have to decide, someone calls you, you have to decide whether you're going to drive to the hospital to consult this resource or just make your best guess based on your experience. So I personally have an ethical problem with a paywall model for medical information. Next slide. So our goal really comes in 4 stages. We want to replace the paywall model with a crowd-funded model for the best information in medicine. That's step 1. And we'll do that with the support of the Atlas token. Goal number 2 is to, once we have a quality library, is to integrate that information with existing medical record software so that physicians, as they are entering information into the medical records, they have the Pure Atlas encyclopedia come up alongside them so that they can easily and quickly research evidence-based treatment options. The goal number 3, after we integrate the information with existing software, is to create individual treatment recommendations for patients using their electronic medical records data. And the holy grail of medicine, which has not happened yet, is artificial intelligence that uses anonymized EMR data to launch a worldwide live rolling clinical trial. So it can recommend treatment, and then it can view the outcomes and generate a live clinical trial using the entire network. This will bring Western medicine, if we're able to accomplish this, and this is a 20, 40, 50-year goal, this will bring Western medicine to a place that it has never been. So an open source medical encyclopedia, it sounds pretty dry, but there is a solid business case to be made for Pure Atlas. So Atlas, the token, on paper, it has the core utility of being redeemable for the redemption of a physician's continuing medical education credits. This is a $2 to $3 billion US dollar business annually. There are 14 million physicians and 12 million non-physicians redeeming CMEs. And most of these healthcare professionals do not own any digital assets. They have good jobs, they're paid in fiat, and so far they've stayed there. So what the Pure Atlas Foundation will do is redeem continuing medical education credits for Atlas tokens. So here's the total CME revenue. They don't publish it for every year, but we have the data from 2007 to 2014, and you can see that it's bouncing between $2.3 billion and $2.7 billion US dollars per year. Next slide. So the total physician participants has never been below $10 million, or I'm sorry, 10 million physicians in any of these years. Next slide. And the healthcare professionals that are not doctors is continually increasing. So the number of people, there's a large community of people that use continuing medical education credits. The current gold standard up to date, their $500 subscription, you pay the $500 and then they redeem your credits for free. The credits are earned through use of the resource. So what we would be doing is we say that you can use our site for free. You don't even have to log in. If you log in, you will earn CMEs, and then we can charge $200 to $300 every year in Atlas tokens to redeem these credits for them, and then they can do so at a 50% discount. So because our competitor is so expensive, we can sell CMEs at a healthy profit, and we'll also along the way gather up significant goodwill from people that are able to use a free resource. So the reasons for us to launch an Atlas token, there's two main reasons. One is that it's borderless, so we can grow a global community. Because Atlas, as a digital NEP5 asset on the NEO blockchain, zips right across the border. It's not fiat, and it seamlessly crosses borders. And also, there's incentive. Pure Atlas has a long-term goal. The ICO is just the beginning. It's not the end of Pure Atlas. It's just the beginning. And the foundation will keep about 30% of the tokens. So widespread adoption of Atlas in the Pure Atlas library would create a strong market for the tokens and make the foundation's tokens useful to launch the next stages of the roadmap, to integrate with electronic medical records, to come up with individualized treatment, and then to have the rolling clinical trial. So I have personally designed Pure Atlas from the ground up to avoid most of the conflicts of interest that are common, unfortunately, to most of the best resources in Western medicine. We have subscription revenue. Subscription revenue, you can pay for the best content, but then you inherently limit the access to this content. Advertising revenue is not as strong of a method as subscription revenue, so you'll earn less money and be able to hire less quality content, and then you have problems with the conflict of interest with advertisers. Drug companies will offer money to anything that they think will recommend a higher use of their drugs, and the same with medical device companies. These are special interests that are constantly working to corrupt sources of information in Western medicine. I saw it all the time as a medical student. I've personally been bought many meals by drug companies that try to butter me up. Pure Atlas is designed to be independent from these corrupting conflicts of interest. So this is the Trust Conference, and Pure Atlas does have a need for verifying the digital identities of its contributors. People trust Pure Atlas because they trust that the physicians that created Pure Atlas are who they say that they are. And we really look forward to reaching out to NeoID and the digital identity verification partners of the NEO project, many of which presented today. And that's Pure Atlas.
All right. Great job.
Give it up once again to Pure Atlas and Dr. Colin Klosser.
All right, I think now it's about time to start some networking. I'm sure everybody has some good questions, some ideas they're thinking about, something to debate with the people you got to know today.
Exactly. So make your way to the back. There's, I believe, there's drinks and there's snacks, and you can all talk to each other and have a good old time. And that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.